By the end of this video, you are going to know everything you need to know to avoid getting commission objections and know exactly how to respond when you get one of them. I actually decided to divide this video into 5 parts because I believe it's going to be easier for you to understand the entire process. Part 1, I'm going to talk to you about the mindset required to overcome commission objections. And if you don't get part 1, the scripts and dialogues, which are the best scripts and dialogues for handling commission objections, are not going to work for you. Because I know some of you are tempted to just, I'm going to fast forward through this. I just want the scripts. They're not going to work. You have to understand everything that I'm going to say to you in part 1. Part 2, I'm going to talk to you about how to handle commission objections over the phone. Part 3, how to handle them in person at the listing appointment. Part 4, I'm going to give you some amazing, powerful, and effective scripts and dialogues for handling commission objections. And part 5, some more scripts and dialogues and how to handle the objection. I'm going to list with a flat fee company. Pay a few $100 and they put it in the MLS. Before we start, I wrote down a few quotes to set the tone for this video. Quote number 1, there are 3 of them. First one, if you think that hiring a professional is expensive, wait until you hire an amateur. Ouch. Second quote, experience isn't expensive, it's priceless. And the last one, commission is a mindset. You get paid in direct proportion to the value that you provide to sellers. Let these sink in for you for a moment. First and foremost, I assume that as a real estate agent, you know that commissions are negotiable. There is no such thing as standard amount of commission or everybody charges the same thing. You know better than to never use that type of language. Commissions are negotiable. You charge whatever you want, everybody charges whatever they want or whatever they are worth. Why do you get commission objections? On the phone or in person? I wrote down because you fear them. Actually, commission objections are the most feared objection. Oh, please don't ask me, can I lower my commission? I have no idea what I'm going to say. I'll probably do it if you ask me. Because agents fear getting the objection. And they don't believe that what they do is worth what they charge. Sellers, no matter what you say, are not going to believe it either. Now, think this through. I always say, how can you convince someone of something that you don't believe in? I don't know the answer to that. If you know how to do that, I would like to know. So write it down on the comments. I can't wait to read it. The truth is, it is not possible for you to convince a seller to pay whatever commission you decide you want to charge if you don't believe that what you do, the results you're going to produce, and how you're going to handle this whole thing is worth that amount of money. And this is why, when I say mindset, I'm really talking about your thoughts and beliefs about you and what you do. And listen, when I got into real estate, I didn't believe it either. I remember the first time I got a commission check for $5,000. My average commission was not that high. I got $5,000. I'm thinking, I didn't work hard enough to do this. Like, I didn't think that what I had done was worth to me, $5,000 was a lot of money. I had gotten out of a full-time job working 40, 45 hours a week, making $30,000 a year. And all of a sudden, one commission, 5,000? I probably didn't even do enough work to make 1,000. I had to work on believing that what I do is worth it, becoming more knowledgeable, having more expertise, being a great negotiator, all of the things that sellers expect from an agent in order to be able to ultimately sell their home for the most money possible with the least amount of time, with the least amount of hassle. I had to work on this. Now, this video is not about how to do that, okay? So how do I change my beliefs? That's a mindset conversation. This video is about getting how to overcome commission objections. And I'm saying all of this to you because, again, if you ever wonder, okay, you're using my scripts, which are the best scripts out there. So you downloaded my free script book. The link is in the description. You have it, you're using it, and the scripts are not working for you, which over the years, I have heard that from so many agents. Well, I used your script and it didn't work. Probably because you don't believe what you're saying and you sound weak and hesitant, and people can sense that. So if the scripts don't work for you, now you know why. It's because you don't believe what you're saying. So what happens when you don't believe what you're saying, or when you're afraid to get an objection? The sellers feel that. They feel your fear, because when you don't believe it, you hesitate. You know, they give you an objection and you're like, well, you know, there's hesitation. And when you hesitate, they hesitate. It causes them to question, well, this sounds a little strange, like this agent's really, this is not convincing me. That is what happens. They're not just giving you objections and questioning you because that's who they are and that's what they do. No, they may talk to another agent and never question anything. So if this is happening to you regularly, you are the common denominator in all of this, and you got to figure out how to change it, okay? How to work on that. SalesX Training is my coaching company. I spend about 30% of the time in my training talking about mindset, talking about beliefs and how to change those beliefs, tools, strategies, and everything that the agents have to do, because without believing in yourself, you're not going to be able to get anything done consistently. You may get lucky once in a while and take a listing, but that's not gonna create a great career for you. So I wrote this down. When a seller asks you, can you do it for less? Can you cut your commission? What they are really saying is, I'm not convinced that I should pay you this amount of money that you're asking for. So go ahead, say something to convince me that what you do is worth what you charge. They're really giving you an opportunity to convince them. That's why they're asking, okay? And it's up to you what you do with that. So commission is a mindset, period, end of story. To get paid whatever commission you charge, you have to earn it. And that's why this video started here. I wrote down, you have to believe that you are worth what you charge, or the sellers won't believe it either. Some of you, this conversation, you're like, okay, I got enough of this. I got it. Okay, where are the scripts? Let me fast forward to part 2. Yeah, you can do that. And like I said, reading scripts to seller or saying the scripts is easy. Anybody can do that. changing your beliefs about yourself and what you do. That is probably the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. But that is where real permanent transformation of your business happens. You want to become unstoppable? That has to happen. You have to develop powerful and positive beliefs about yourself and what you do. It doesn't happen overnight, okay? I don't have a quick fix here. Otherwise, I would give it to you. Like I said, that's the reason why I spend so much time in my coaching program talking to agents about mindset. The other part of it is all scripts, obviously, dialogues, communication skills, because you are in the business of communicating. So I wanted to establish all of this for you before we go into everything else, because if you use my scripts and they don't work for you, now you know why. Over the years, I've been working with real estate agents I've been in real estate for 28 years. I spent many years selling real estate, and probably, I don't know, over 16 years now coaching agents. One-on-one, group program, live, all kinds of stuff, tens of thousands of agents. And I have heard so many agents say to me, well, I don't know how I can make FSBOs more money than if they sold themselves. I'm not really sure how to respond when they say, well, another agent said they will do it for less. I'm thinking, I'm so scared of that. I don't know. Maybe you should work with them. I wrote a few questions down, and I ask you to get your paper and pen and write them down, because this is stuff for you to think about. How can you expect a for sale by owner to list their house with you if you don't know how you can make them money instead of just costing them money? I don't know the answer to that, okay? It's not going to happen. Second question, how can you expect an expired listing to list with you if you don't know what you do differently than their previous agent, or what you do differently than a discount agent? How can you expect any homeowner to list with you if you do the same things and get the same results as a discount agent or a flat fee for MLS company? Do you see how this is just not possible? It's not going to happen. So again, this video is not about, oh, how do I fix that now? But you need to be aware that that's a huge part of the process, because quite honestly, I have heard so many times, well, you know, I used the script, it didn't work. Yeah, I know it's not going to work, because if you hesitate, if you're unsure of what you're saying, sellers are going to feel it, and you're going to keep getting the objections. So this is part one for you. Coming up next, we're going to talk about how to handle commission objections over the phone. Part two, how to handle commission objections over the phone, because obviously over the phone is completely different than in person. Part three, we're going to talk about handling it in person. You can avoid commission objections by making a powerful presentation over the phone and in person. When I refer to a presentation, I don't just mean the listing appointment, your listing presentation. Everything you say when you call a seller, they answer the phone, you're presenting. And when that presentation is powerful, and I'm going to define that for you so you understand exactly what I'm talking about. You don't get that many objections. Could you still get it every now and then? Could you get some? Yes, especially when you're calling the most motivated sellers that are getting a lot of calls from realtors. Why do a lot of realtors, by the way, call expireds and FSBOs? Because they all want to sell, and all these realtors that are calling, even though they don't know what they're doing, they're going after listings. And because they're getting a lot of calls from agents and they don't want to talk to agents, they're more likely to have objections, but not necessarily commission objections. FISBOs don't want to pay a commission. Entirely different conversation. Bottom line here is, when you make a powerful presentation and you leave no doubt that you are worth every penny of the commission you charge, they won't even ask you to reduce your commission. Now, I wrote this down. When you sound weak, I want you to make notes, because I'm going to give you the distinction. Okay, this is not a powerful presentation, and this is what a powerful presentation is. If you sound weak, insecure, and hesitant, they will most certainly question your commission. When they answer the phone, you have to be on. I wrote the word on in capital letters on my notes. On. And you have to lead the conversation, because when you lead, people follow. Lead the conversation with focus, confidence, and deliver the scripts in a clear, direct, and powerful way, so they simply don't question what you say. Now, maybe you don't know how to do that. I mean, this is what I teach. This is what I teach my clients. This is it. It's communication skills that are highly impacted by what's going on in your head, because we talked about that in part 1. That's why that was part 1. Now I'm going to read this again to you, because I want you to let that sit with you. And I have no doubt that you will agree with me that when you lead the conversation with focus, confidence, and you deliver the scripts in a clear, direct, powerful way, people don't object. So you got to figure out how to get there, okay? What I just said to you is the secret to eliminating objections, not just commission objections. Getting less and less and fewer objections, and getting people to agree to meet with you and list with you at a price that will sell, because pricing conversation, all of this applies to everything you do. And you might want to listen to it again. Make sure you write it down and let that sink in, okay? Don't ever tell sellers what your commission is, or try to handle commission objections over the phone. Never. And here's why. Obviously, at the appointment, if it comes up, you're going to have to handle it. That's part 3. Why do you not talk about it over the phone? Because it is meaningless to them. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you do. They don't know what you're going to do for them. They don't know anything. So I want to give you an example so you understand, and you never again discuss commission over the phone. I'm going to tell you what to do when they ask, okay? It's like, okay, if I don't answer, what do I do? Hang in there. It's coming. If I ask you this question. I just bought a car, and I paid $50,000 for this car. Did I make a good deal? What would you say? How would you answer that? You'd go, I have no clue. What kind of car did you buy? Exactly. So when you say to a seller over the phone, my commission is this much, they're like, okay, to me, that makes no difference. I have no idea what you do. Obviously, sellers believe that the less commission they pay, the more money they keep. And everybody wants to keep as much money as possible from the sale of their home. Absolutely, 100%. And at the same time, what they don't know is that the commission is in direct proportion to the caliber of the agent that they hire. Commission will make a difference in how much money they sell the house for and how much money they end up with. But it's not because the less I pay, the more I get. No, you actually get what you pay for. And I'm sure you are aware of that, and you've had those experiences in your life where something that you thought was so cheap ended up being way more expensive than the expensive item to begin with. So never talk about commission over the phone. So what do? Over the phone, you're going to diffuse the objection, okay? And I actually wrote down 4 different ways of doing that, and I'm going to tell you what they are in order. And it doesn't matter if they say, can you cut your commission, or what is your commission, or another agent said they'll do it for less. It doesn't really matter, okay? They're questioning the commission. First thing I will say is, Mr. Seller, because you always repeat, approve, and validate the objection. So, Mr. Seller, that is a very important question. And the commission ultimately, and I imagine this is why you're asking, because the commission you pay is going to affect your bottom line, and obviously you want to be able to sell the home for the most money possible and walk away from the closing table with as much money as possible, right? Mr. Seller, I assure you that that is the same goal that I have in working with you, and we'll discuss the commission in detail during our meeting. So I look forward to seeing you today at 3 o'clock. That's it. Oh, what if they ask it again? Okay, yeah, but can you tell me over the phone? Mr. Seller, my commission is negotiable. And again, we'll discuss that in detail during our meeting. Oh, but I want to know how much it is. Well, here's the great, Mr. Seller, I completely understand. And ultimately, the commission is going to be whatever you and I agree upon. Yeah, but I'm not going to pay more than I have to. I wouldn't expect you to pay a penny more than what my services are worth to you and the value that I'm going to bring to you in this transaction. And Mr. Seller, I just want to assure you that unless I bring you an offer at a price that is acceptable to you, there will be no commission. I don't charge any commission. Again, unless I bring you an offer at a price that you're happy with and we close the transaction. Until that happens, I'd be working for free. So, Mr. Seller, I look forward to seeing you this afternoon at 4 o'clock, and I am confident that when we meet, you will clearly see why we should be working together. That's it. Now, I gave you 4 different ways of handling that. Okay, now if you say all of this, but you're like, well, I don't know, you're all weak and hesitant and insecure and you don't know what you're talking about, how could you expect them to buy into what you're saying? So one quick way, easy way for you to fix that is practice, practice, practice. So you don't have to worry about the words, because when you're on a call and they give you an objection, you're either prepared to respond or you're not. And if you're not prepared, if you talk to enough people, you may actually end up getting appointments and taking listings, right? If you're able to set enough appointments, even if you sound terrible. But that's not something that you can do on a regular basis and expect to set appointments and take listings. And when you practice the words, you practice, where the words are no longer like an issue for you. You own them. Then when you hear the objection, you're prepared, you're ready to go, and you're more likely to actually deliver them without hesitation. Part 3 is going to be how to handle commission objections at the appointment. Part 3, how to handle commission objections in person. Since you can't convince someone of something that you don't believe in, if you don't think that what you do is worth what you charge, you have 2 options. First one, lower your commission when they ask you. Number two, upgrade what you do and your belief in yourself, which obviously is the preferable option. I know that's why you're here. If you didn't want to improve yourself, what you do, and your belief, you wouldn't be here. You'd be, I don't know, watching somebody else's videos. Write this down. It's a very important thought. In the absence of value, commission becomes an issue. People pay for perceived value. I want you to think about this. Chanel, as an example, very expensive everything, right? Let's talk about a handbag. A handbag can cost $10,000. How much do you think it cost to actually make the bag? People are paying because the Chanel logo is on it. Otherwise, it'll probably be worth a couple of $100s. They're paying for perceived value. When you speak with a seller, when you're at a listing appointment, what is the perception they get of what you're going to do? And I don't mean in the sense of like, you don't actually have to provide great service and great results. It's all perception. So it doesn't matter what happens in the end. Of course it matters. It's a huge responsibility to be a real estate agent and handle the sale of people's biggest asset, biggest financial asset for most people. So absolutely, you need to make sure that you're providing great value and great results. You have to know your competition. Technically, you have no competition. It's really just a story in your head. But let's call other agents, discount agents, let's call that your competition. You have to know your competition. Every successful business on the planet know exactly what their competition is doing, and they also know how to present their product or service in a way that provides better value and results to the customer. That's how people compete. But to do that, you need to know what your competition is doing. So here's how you're going to do that. You're going to go in your multiple listing service and you are going to do some research on discount companies or discount agents. You pick 3. Why? You're going to gain knowledge. You're going to know what they do and what results they produce. So write this down. When you go do some research on discount companies, I call this doing a report card on your competition. Like, let's find out what it is that they actually do in terms of results. So you're gonna select 3 of them, companies or individual agents you choose, and you're gonna check to see how many homes that company all discounted, listed and sold in the last 12 months or 6 months. And you are gonna have to update this every so often. Maybe once a year is good enough. So how many homes did they sell in the last 12 months? How many listings expired? Listings they took that expired. Of the ones that sold, what was the average days on market? What was the average list to sales price ratio? These are very important statistics. Typically, discount companies, discount agents, they don't have a lot of skill. They don't really, even help with much. They're not great negotiators. If they were, they'd be negotiating a higher commission for themselves. They wouldn't be working for almost nothing in many cases. And they don't have knowledge of the market, of comparables, of how to do a CMA, how to have a conversation with sellers. So you're gonna find that statistics, these stats for discount companies are not really good at all. And when you compare those statistics to your personal, if you have no experience, use your company statistics. Or even if you compare to the average for all of the agents in your MLS, you can find all of this information, okay? I'm not here to teach you how. You call your MLS and ask, you call your board of realtors, you ask your broker. I don't know how to use your MLS. Every MLS is different, but all this information is available to you. And when you compare, like I said, discount companies with, even if you use average for your MLS for the same stats, you're gonna find a huge gap. And this is powerful evidence that you wanna have with you on your listing appointments. Should a commission objection come up, you would be able to actually say, Mr. Seller, I completely understand. I'm going to give you a lot of scripts and dialogues, okay? That's going to be part 4 and 5. So I don't want to get into that now, but you're actually able to show them, because you want to do a printout with all these stats and say, Mr. Seller, I completely understand, and I took the liberty to actually bring some information for you directly from our multiple listing service so you can see the difference in the results that discount agents provide compared to what I can do for you. Okay? It's evidence. Tools in your toolbox. You're not going to need to use this all the time, but if and when it comes up, you want to be prepared. Then I wrote this down. When they ask you in person, now you're at the appointment, and they ask you, can you lower your commission? Or another agent said they can do it for less. The very first option out of your mouth is gonna be, Mr. Seller, my commission is X, whatever you charge. So can you lower it? Can you cut it? Can so-and-so set it? Mr. Seller, my commission is X. All I need is your signature right here so I can go to work for you. That's it. And when I say I need your signature right here, you got the pen in your hand, you're pointing to the signature line on the listing agreement, and you ask them to sign. That's it. Confident, direct. My commission is X, Mr. Seller. I just need your signature right here so we can get your property sold. I've done this, and I know very often if they ask, it's just, I've had sellers literally grab the pen and say, oh, okay, yeah, I just thought I'd ask. That's it. And they just sign. So instead of, even though I'm going to give you so many, like I said, best scripts, dialogues, whatever, wouldn't it be so much better to just, if it's that easy, just say that. Let's see how it goes, okay? And when you say it confidently, again, the presentation you make over the phone and in person is going to determine how they respond. Because if you're a like weak mess, it's not going to work. So now I wrote down, there are 6 steps to handling commission objections over the phone. 6 steps. I'm going to take you through them right now. Step 1. Listen intently to what they're saying. They're in front of you. They're speaking with you. Don't even for a second move your eyes away from them. You're looking and you're nodding your head because that means you understand where they're coming from. It doesn't mean agreement. You're just focused. You're paying attention. Your eyes are not wandering. You're not like already feeling agitated because you don't know what to say. No, you're just listening intently, and you are not trying to figure out what you're going to say next while they are speaking. That's step 1. It is critically important. Step number, oh yeah, I actually wrote this down. See, that's why I have notes, so I don't forget anything. The reason step 1 is so important, it wouldn't exist if it wasn't important, okay? Is because it doesn't matter what you're gonna say next, because I'm gonna give you every step and you're gonna have all the objections, but it doesn't matter how great the scripts and dialogues are if the person you're saying them to is not listening. And let me give you a secret. People don't listen to you until they feel like you've listened to them. And that's why you are listening intently. Step number 2, you're going to repeat and approve what they said. You are going to validate the objection. And after you repeat, approve, and validate, you are going to level shift. I'm going to give you an example of how to level shift commission objection in a few minutes. I'm just taking you through the steps now. Repeating, approving, and validating is saying, I'll give you an example now, because when I give you all the scripts and dialogues, I'm not going to repeat, approve every single time, because I have like a bunch of scripts that I want to give it to you. So I'm just going to give you an example. Mr. Seller, I hear you and I completely understand why you're concerned about the amount of commission that you charge. Because from your perspective, this is already part of getting into the level shift, but I'll give you the full thing in a minute. Because from your perspective, the commission you pay is gonna affect how much money you end up with, and obviously you want to be able to keep as much money as possible, right? That's it. I understand why they're asking. That is the reason why, and I want to make sure they know that I understand this, okay, before we continue. Okay, great. That's step 2. And then the level shift, which I'll give it to you in a few minutes. Step 3, isolate the objection. What does that mean? It's making sure that there's nothing else. They don't have a list of 10 objections. Once I respond to this, we're done. So an isolating the objection here will sound like this. And Mr. Seller, if we can agree on the commission, will you be ready to go ahead and list the property with me today? Notice how my body language matches what I'm saying. I'm not saying, will you be ready to list with me today? Imagine if you sound like that and your body language, it's all weird, okay? That's not gonna work. Step number 4, ask a question to create doubt and spark some curiosity. I'll give you a couple of examples, because again, when I give you the script, it's just going to be the scripts. I'm not going to do this every time. Some of them I might, but not always. So you need to follow the steps, okay? Can I tell you why, Mr. Seller, working with a discount agent will actually end up costing you money? Here's another one. This is obviously after you repeat, approve, you isolate it. Mr. Seller, unfortunately, working with a flat fee company will work against you. May I share with you why? Do I have your permission, Mr. Seller, to tell you the truth about how real estate works? Okay, those are just like, how is this going to end up costing me money? How is this going to work against me? Doubt, curiosity. Step 5, handle the objection. And that's where you're going to insert the scripts and dialogues that I'm going to give you. And I'm going to give you a lot of good ones. And then step 6, very simple, but agents like to overcomplicate it. Ask them to sign the listing agreement. That's what you do after you handle every objection. It always ends with a close. By the way, here's another option. Actually, I have that in the part 4. Mr. Seller, you only pay my commission if and when I bring you a buyer at a price that is acceptable to you and we close the transaction. Until then, my commission is zero. I already gave you this before, but this is a very powerful, I actually gave it to you in diffusing commission objections over the phone, but you could use this in person as well, okay? The level shift. Can you do it for less, for X? Mr. Seller, that is a great question. And I completely understand why you are asking, because from your perspective, paying a lower commission is obviously attractive because you're thinking, well, if I pay less commission, I'm going to end up with more money. And ultimately, that is what you want, isn't it, Mr. Seller? Well, yeah, obviously, that's what I want. So what I hear you saying, Mr. Seller, is it's not so much about how much commission you pay. What's really important to you is how much you end up with, right? That's a level. And obviously they're going to say, well, yeah, we already established. They're thinking the less I pay, the more I keep. But it's how much you pay doesn't really matter. It's how much you end up with that matters. So I'm shifting the focus of this conversation from commission to what they're going to walk away with. So now you're going to isolate the objection and then you're going to explain to them how you are the best option for them to walk away from the closing table with the most money possible, okay? And when I give you these commission objections, which are the actual scripts and dialogues, obviously you need to read them, reread them, practice them, understand the logic behind everything I'm saying. Because going back to part one, if you don't believe it, you don't understand the logic, none of it is going to work for you. So this is a wrap for part 3, scripts and dialogues. Coming up next. Part 4, scripts and dialogues. I'm going to share with you a lot of great scripts. It's in no order of importance, although the first one is probably my favorite. And you're not gonna see, I couldn't imagine. I'm giving you a lot of scripts and dialogues because they help you understand how to think, how to respond, the things that are involved in a great agent being able to earn their commission. But it's not likely that sellers are just, again, when you do a great presentation and you deliver a response in a powerful manner, they're not going to keep asking you for, the same things over and over. Can you lower your commission? It's not going to happen. I'm giving you different scripts, so you could actually choose what resonates most with you, and you should always have 3 of them. Absolutely internalize and own them, because actually for any objection you should have 3 different responses, just in case it comes up a second time, you're ready, or a third time. But if it keeps coming up over and over and over, you got some other problems, okay? So the first one, my favorite, I have notes in front of me because I could deliver these scripts to you without looking down, but every word is meticulously and perfectly placed. And sometimes when I'm just role-playing scripts, it doesn't come out exactly the way it's written because I own them, so I dance around with it. But I want to make sure you get it exactly the way that this is written. So this, again, remember, it's step 5. Mr. Seller, see, the whole method of doing business for discount agents is designed around giving discounts. That's how they get business. And that's how they're trying to attract your business. Now, the problem for you is, Mr. Seller, this is how they sell homes too. And that's exactly how they're going to represent you, Mr. Seller. When you think about it, if these agents really knew how to get top dollar, wouldn't they start by doing it for themselves? Mr. Seller, I may be tough on my commission, but the good news for you is I am on your side, and I'm going to be tough on negotiating the price that we set on your home. And ultimately, you want an agent that will be able to sell your home for the highest possible price so you can end up with the most money possible, right? Let's get this done right, Mr. Seller. Put me to work for you. I actually added some things, but the gist of it, you have it right there. Discount agents, they cannot even defend their own commission. How could they possibly negotiate the highest price on the sale of your property? I love it so much. I think it's amazing. Here's the next one. Mr. Seller, if you were involved in a court case for $500,000, time out, that amount of money would be the price that they want to sell the house for. Okay, so if the house is $1 million, the court case is for $1 million. So I'm using 500,000 as an example. That is what they're asking for the house. So Mr. Seller, if you are involved in a court case for $500,000, would you hire the cheapest attorney in town to represent you in court? Notice how I'm like, why would you consider doing that, Mr. Seller, with the sale of one of your biggest assets? Tonality is critically important in everything that I'm saying, okay? You don't want to sound condescending, like you're calling them stupid. You're concerned, like, why would you consider doing that in the sale of one of your biggest assets? Let's get this done right, Mr. Seller. Put me to work for you. I love that line. That is like the perfect transition to getting the signature. I love this one too. This is actually, it could sound a little bit like jokingly. I mean, obviously it's a joke. Mr. Seller, would you fly on an airline where their marketing slogan was, "Come fly with us because our pilots work for the lowest wages"? Of course not, right? And they'll probably look at you and say, yeah, no, I don't think so. Of course not. And Mr. Seller, isn't that the same thing these discount agents are doing? They're saying to you, trust your biggest financial asset to me because I work for the lowest commissions in the industry. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Like, concerned. I mean, yeah, these are all logical. Remember I said to you at the end of step 3, you have to understand the logic. You got to buy into it. You got to believe what you're saying. I mean, I do 100%. I don't know how anybody would question any of this. Here's the next one. Mr. Seller, can I tell you why? Remember the question to create doubt, get their attention? Well, it's here. Can I tell you why hiring a discount agent will actually end up costing you money? You see, Mr. Seller, the agent that you hire is the person who's going to be representing you in all of the conversations with prospective buyers and in all of the conversations with agents that represent buyers. And Mr. Seller, you're not going to be present for those conversations. If these agents don't have the courage to defend their own worth, Mr. Seller, how strong can they possibly be defending you and the price that we set on your home? Mr. Seller, I have that courage. And my job is to sell your home for the highest price this market will give us. And that is what you want, isn't it? Put me to work for you. I know you're going to be really, really happy that you did. Close. Here's the next one. Mr. Seller, have you ever gotten a discount that ended up costing you way more than the regularly priced item to begin with? Everybody's had that experience one point or another. So you know, make sure your body language matches what you're saying. Can you afford, Mr. Seller, to have that happen with one of your most valuable assets? Can you afford? No, I can't afford. That's why I'm nodding no. That's it. That's another one for you. Next one. See, Mr. Seller, the commission you pay is in direct relationship to the caliber of the agent that you hire. Think about this, Mr. Seller. Do the best doctors and best attorneys charge the highest fees or the lowest fees? It works, and they're going to say, well, yeah, they charge the highest fees. See, Mr. Seller, it works exactly the same way in real estate. What type of agents do you think are willing to work for discount commissions? When you ask questions, you gotta let them answer. Would it be, Mr. Seller, if they don't answer, right? Or would it be the highest quality agents or the lowest quality agents? Well, I guess the lowest quality agents. See, Mr. Seller, someone is going to walk away from the negotiations with a great deal for their client. Which agent do you think that will be? Can you see how, Mr. Seller, using a discount agent will work against you in getting top dollar for your home? Let's get this done right, Mr. Seller. Put me to work for you. These are amazing. Next one. And Mr. Seller, I'm just curious. Again, you're not going to go in a row and, use 10 of them. No, it's just so you have options and you have tools in your toolbox. Mr. Seller, if we were both free, which agent would you list with? And I trust you've made a great presentation and they're going to say you. Imagine that, Mr. Seller. Even if they were willing to work for free, you wouldn't choose them. Just saying that proves, Mr. Seller, that listing with that discount agent or any discount agent would be a mistake, wouldn't it? Let's get this done right. Put me to work for you. Number 9. Mr. Seller, may I tell you why agents are sometimes willing to work for lower commissions? See, what they do, Mr. Seller, is they take listings and use those listings as a bait to attract buyers, because active listings are actually the best source of ready, willing, and able buyers. So some agents are willing to take listings at a lower commission and use it to attract buyers. And you know what's scary about this, Mr. Seller? It's that the longer your home sits on the market, the more they benefit from attracting buyers that they can sell other properties to. Can you imagine, Mr. Seller, your home just sitting on the market month after month after month, simply because it benefits the agent to actually not have your property sell? You wouldn't want to list with an agent whose interest is to keep your home on the market for as long as possible, right? You want to actually get your home sold quickly for the most money possible with the least amount of hassle, right? That's exactly why we should be working together, and it is what I'm going to do for you, Mr. Seller. Let's get the paperwork signed so we can go ahead and make this happen. Sign the contract. All right, last part 5, some more great scripts and dialogues for you, and how to handle the flat fee for MLS objection. Part 5, some more scripts for you, and then I'm going to tell you how to handle the flat fee for MLS commission, and I have a very important thought for you to actually wrap up this commission objection video. So here we go. Commission, Mr. Seller, is one of those things where you actually get what you pay for. Let me show you this information. Time out. What are you going to show them? You're going to show them the multiple listing service stats that you pulled up, the report card on those 3 discount agents or discount companies that I told you to go gather. Okay, so you're going to show it to them. This, by the way, was it's a very powerful commission objection. I used to use this all the time because I used to bring in to listing appointments a list of all the properties that I had sold in the last 12 months, like one-liners, list to sales price ratio showing average days on market, all this information. So these stats compare to, I told you, if you're brand new, doesn't matter, company stats or even MLS stats will do. So, Mr. Seller, take a look at this. Here you could see how discount companies, their list price to sales price ratio is 94%, Mr. Seller. And this information is from the multiple listing service. Now, here you could see my track record in the last 12 months. My list to sales price ratio was 98%, Mr. Seller, 4% higher than these discount agents and discount companies, Mr. Seller. So see, ultimately, you may pay me a little bit more commission, but you will end up with more money in your pocket. And that is what's most important to you, isn't it? Evidence, powerful stuff. Here's one more. Mr. Seller, can I tell you why listing with a discount agent can affect your ability to negotiate the highest price for your property? See, Mr. Seller, this happens all the time. When I call a discount agent about one of their listings, and I say, well, your seller is asking $500,000, because good agents actually ask, even though your agent is not supposed to really respond to anything that you're doing or willing to do in terms of negotiation. But any agent will call a discount agent. Well, I know they're listed for $500,000. Are they willing to accept $450,000? And their response is, well, bring me an offer, even if it's low, and I'll work to put it together to the best of my ability. So they actually encourage agents to bring lower offers. Mr. Seller, they don't do it to hurt homeowners. It's just that this is how discount agents know how to sell. This is how they negotiate their own commission. Think about it, Mr. Seller. If they don't have the courage to negotiate a higher commission for themselves, how could they possibly be able to negotiate a higher price for your property, Mr. Seller? And what happens is homeowners sit on the market for month after month after month. They receive some low offers on their property and they really don't know what the reason for that is. Now, Mr. Seller, I know you're looking to sell this home for the most money possible in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassle. Let's get this done right. Put me to work for you. I just need your signature right here. You have a lot of options now, okay? Now, flat fee. I've had this question asked so many times. So here you go. Just as you did a report card for 3 discount agents or discount companies, I want you to do a report card for flat fee companies. Go figure out who they are. In many markets, they're all over the place. Actually, this is one of the most common objections that I got from for sale by owners when I was selling real estate. Flat fee. Some agents think, well, yeah, you know, when you were selling real estate, it was different. They didn't have flat fee. What are you talking about? These companies have been around for decades. Actually, I'm going to use that script. I'm going to share that with you in just a couple of minutes. So go ahead and do the same type of report card for 3 flat fee companies, okay? So here you go. Here's how you're going to respond. Mr. Seller, you already repeated, approved, you already asked the question, you already isolated the objection, you did all the stuff that I already taught you to do. So Mr. Seller, I'm sure you are aware that these companies, they put your house in the multiple listing service and they don't do anything else. You are aware of that, right? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's what I want. See, Mr. Seller, when you think about it, there is no doubt that the multiple listing is a great tool. And at the same time, a tool is only as good as the craftsman that uses it. May I explain? That's a great line. In and of itself, it's a great line, okay? May I explain? I'm going to give you other options of how to explain. Another one I love is, when you think about it, Mr. Seller, having access to the operating room doesn't make someone a great surgeon, does it? You see, these companies do have access to the multiple listing service. And again, it is a great tool. And on its own, Mr. Seller, it's just not enough to get homes sold quickly and for top market price. If that was the case, Mr. Seller, we wouldn't have 50% of listings expiring without selling. Or take a look at the stats for these 3 flat fee companies. Look at how many properties they listed that didn't sell. Look at their list to sales price ratio. Here again is where you'd be able to use some stats as evidence. And then here's another option. Mr. Seller, so you'd pay a commission in essence. If you were to use one of these companies, you'd pay a commission to a buyer's agent and you would take care of your side of the transaction, right? Mr. Seller, the court case objection again. If you were involved in a court case for $500,000, put in the price of their home right there, would you pay the other party's attorney and represent yourself in court? Think about it. That's what, time out. That's what they're doing. They're paying the buyer's agent commission because they would pay that. And now they're representing themselves. Of course not. You know, when you ask the court case question, of course not, Mr. Seller. You would want to actually hire the best attorney in town to represent you, right? Yeah, well, yeah, obviously that's what I would do if it was a $500,000 court case. Why would you do anything differently, Mr. Seller, with the sale of your home? Are you interested in having a strong agent represent you in every aspect of the sale of your property? That's exactly what I'm going to do for you, Mr. Seller. Here's one more. Mr. Seller, I understand why you would consider working with a flat fee company. Obviously, it sounds attractive if you can save a lot of money. And Mr. Seller, when you think about it, you would agree that we live in a very value-conscious society, right? And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Mr. Seller. These flat fee companies, they have been around for decades. And they only take a very small portion of the sales in our market. So when you think about it, Mr. Seller, if these companies produced the same results as traditional agents, wouldn't they quickly take over the marketplace and put all our other agents out of the business? Logic, yeah, that would happen. Can I tell you why they don't, Mr. Seller? Because ultimately, and I'm sure you've experienced this in the past, Mr. Seller, we get what we pay for. Now, you want to get your home sold for the most money possible, right? That's why you need a strong agent like myself representing you. Let's go ahead and get this done right. Put me to work for you. Yay! Great! We got here. So before we wrap this up, I want to share this with you. What if you go on a listing appointment and you don't get, they don't sign the listing agreement, okay? You don't get the paperwork signed, and they never ask you a commission objection. They never ask you, can you do it for less, so and so. It never comes up. Here's what you need to do. You need to bring it up. You don't walk out without knowing what's going on. I mean, when they say, well, no, I don't want to sign right now, I have to think about it. There are ways to handle that objection. That's not what we're doing here right now. Okay, we're talking about commission objection. So if they don't bring it up and they don't sign, don't leave. Bring up the commission objection. Say, Mr. Seller, I gotta ask you, did you speak with any other agents that offer to list your property at a lower commission? Ask. And I can assure you that if they have, they will tell you. I used to do this, you know, a lot of the stuff that I teach you, like I used to do this stuff, and I didn't always do it, but I realized sometimes if I don't take the listing, even over the phone, flat fee for MLS was one of the most common objections I heard from FSBOs. And sometimes I wasn't able to set an appointment, and sometimes they would say, well, you know, I'm thinking I'm gonna list with a flat fee company. Great, I know how to handle that. Sometimes they wouldn't say anything. No, you know, no matter how many times I closed what I did, no. And then I follow up with them. Sometimes a few days later, they tell me they listed with a flat fee. So I started actually bringing it up. If they're not giving me an appointment, I would say, over the phone and in person, I would say, Mr. Seller, by any chance, have you considered working with one of these companies that list your property for a flat fee, and they just put it in the multiple listings? Oh yeah, actually we're considering. Great, now I can do something with this. It's the same thing in person. So if they don't bring it up, you have to bring it up, because now when they say, yeah, I'm thinking, another agent said blah, 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 you could say, I completely understand, Mr. Seller, and now you start handling the objection. Follow the steps. Yeah, you're gonna repeat, validate, and I understand why paying a lower commission, and then you go through the entire process, because now at least you can handle it. You know, if you don't know what they're thinking, if you don't know the commission is an objection, you can't do anything about. And then you call them a few days later to follow up, or even the next day, and they list it with a discount agent, and you're like, I don't know what happened. So that's a wrap for this video. I trust you learned a lot. If you have any questions left about commission objections, make sure you put them in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.